Where the hell am I?
Shocking terror, we take it?
No, I figured after my little encounter with that scout of yours from last year, eventually the whole lot of you would show up at my doorstep.
We'll praise you for your courage, for that alone will consider sparing your life, should you answer our questions. How were you able to defeat our so-called scout, as you put it? We have been unable to access his memories, even after re-merging with him.
Oh, him? Well, I kind of showed him a bad eye, and he then kind of got a little flustered, and then...
And it exploded.
What was that just now?
Oh, it was a clip from Galaxy Quest. I figured that with that little line, it probably would have made for good joke fodder and all that.
So you have a degree on reality warping. How did a low-class spiral like yourself acquire such an ability?
Oh, that's easy. I review stuff. You see, for us internet critics, as long as we review something, whether it be good or bad, we can usually produce screenshots like this or change the background like this. It all depends on how much passion we can put into the review. I suppose that scout of yours ended up putting a tiny bit too much passion in, well, you know.
An interesting theory, but absolutely nonsense in the end. Even if he was a little beyond our control, our scout will never seduce to something as meaningless as emotion like passion.
I think even before the review he was a little bit on the dramatic side. But if you want to see it firsthand, why don't you try to review something? In fact, I just happen to have my next review set up and it's going to be a bad anime, so maybe this is just the perfect time for you to take a look at it.
Why should we waste our time on such trivial matters?
Oh, come on. I bet that you guys, of all people, would want to discover all of the secrets of the universe, so maybe reviewing something like this will kind of get you to see how he went through it and all that.
Very well. If it's our only lead to understand what happened to our scouts, we'll do it.
Great. I'll get my stuff together and bring it over to the next room for you.
Just hurry up.
Oh, by the way, you think you can kind of get rid of that blackness and take on a more human form? Because, you know, it's going to be hard to record you like that.
Oh, right.
This better?
Great.
Let's just get it over with. Greetings, members of the Spyro race. We, the collective minds of the anti-Spyro, have taken upon ourselves to descend upon your lower life forms. Now rest assured that we have not come to steal your planet away just yet. No, we will wait until the millionth you monkeys have surfaced. Which, by the way, how many of you are on this planet again? Because the last time we checked was about a few millenniums ago. Really? You monkeys are that futile? Ah, jeez, we're already busy with that other galaxy. Tell you what, we'll give you an extension, say 10 billion K. Consider yourself lucky. Anyway, for today, we prep you for your eventual demise by showing you this anime that Ant-Man says is horrible. Well, we don't expect much out of anything created by you primates. However, we'll give it a watch. Cosimo in your mind now. What? Breakfast time? Oh, yeah, the review. Well, we didn't explode this time, but somehow we still feel half dead after something that mind-numbingly bad. Now, before anything else, Adman says if you like this series, that's your opinion, that's fine, yada yada yada. Of course, our word is absolute. And our word is this show was boring. We had low expectation, but this was just, between terrible animation, reused backgrounds, awful music, and snail-paced plot, is your race even worth destroying at this point if this is the best you've got? Until we saw this, we had thought your spiral race had developed an alarming rate of advancements in their arts like animation. But this anime is so backwards in its approach towards animation that it seems like your race is degrading without any of our help. Whatever happened to female versions of King Arthur's destroying giant tentacle monsters? Or magical girls attacking giant upside-down witches with army missiles? Or... that never happened! But yeah, there was a time when the spiral race were capable of creating truly great and imaginative worlds. Yet, these are the standards that you have set for yourself? A show that is so lacking in creativity skills that they are literally just tracing over stuff? Oh, we don't mean they're plagiarizing. No, this is far worse than that. This is Aku no Hana. So how does this anime start off? With pure nightmare fuel, apparently. Sorry, before anything else, we gotta check Wikipedia to see what kind of show this is and who's its audience supposed to appeal to. Psychological thriller. Just thriller. And with faces like these, we thought for sure it was going to be at least a psychological horror, or just pure horror. Wait a minute. Is that one of the characters? I wonder what she looks like in the anime. Yeah, for the sake of the review, we did read a few chapters of this manga. And while we thought it was just okay, one compliment we could have given it that had some good artwork and character design. They didn't look too anime-ish, but still easy on the eyes. So why didn't they just took those manga pages and animate them like anyone else would? Well, apparently the director wanted to try something different. You know, be new and edgy. So he decided to use ancient animation technique of rotoscoping. Okay. We'll be honest. We don't think rotoscoping is necessarily a bad animation technique if it was used the right way. For you lower life forms, we shall explain it for you. Rotoscoping is the animation technique of tracing over real-life images in order to produce a more realistic and fluid animation. It's been used in the animation world since the 1930s, where it was used to animate stuff like Betty Boop's dance numbers, and later for animating some of the human characters in Disney's Snow White. However, as time went by, it became a technique that was used very sparingly, as it should be. After Snow White, Disney would use live-action footage of people strictly for reference only, and were not directly traced over it. The great animation director Don Bluth did also use rotoscoping to animate humans in some of his early movies, but consider them most of them were in the background while the focus of the film was on little mice. It really didn't matter. They would also use live-action vehicles such as Cruella de Vil's car, which actually did work out better because it did give inanimate object a more menacing appearance, especially when you put cute little animals in front of it. All the characters in Aku no Hana are terrifying, but for all the wrong reasons. Seriously, is this just some guy in drag? On top of that, we said that one of the big selling points of rotoscoping is creating fluid and realistic animation. Guess what Snow White, a movie from 1937, has over an anime of 2013? Fluid frickin' animation! This animation here is just so jerky and matched so poorly with their lip flaps that we almost think we're watching an old episode of Speed Racer. Though, in Speed Racer's defense, at least it has more details than this abomination. For instance, there are scenes where we can clearly see characters with no faces. That is, until they move more into the foreground and then spontaneously develop faces. If you foolish creatures of the Spyro race believe you can maintain faces like ours, then you are sadly mistaken. Still, to this anime's credit, their normal faces almost reach this level. By the way, are these two lines on this guy's face supposed to be nostrils? Also, take a look at this scene from the manga and compare it to the short from the anime. The idea here is this character is giving a frightening death stare to the teacher that makes him back off. The anime version of this girl certainly has a frightening face, but so does everyone else. However, there are no finer details like dynamic shading effect. What we mean by this is basically none of these characters produce any shadows. Any basic art school student on your planet can tell you you need shadows in order to make an image look more three-dimensional. Think about it. When you're out in the sun, you're always going to have differing amounts of light all over your body. Yet for some odd reason, these guys have an evenly distributing lighting all over them. As a result, character designs look very flat and lifeless. In fact, much of the time, the non-speaking characters just suddenly stop moving and literally dissolve into the background.
What are we, the background scenery or something?
Yeah. For a series that tried to boost more realistic animation, they ignore some of the very basic concept of building realism and extension, actual tension. Take a look at this scene from High School of the Dead, where the zombie apocalypse feels a lot more ominous when you add in something as crazy as shadows. Or hell, let's take away the budget and look at the first season of Higurashi no Naku Koruni.
誰？あのおじさん。
知らない人だよ。
Despite the lackluster animations, scenes like this where the sun is setting and the shadows are coming in really develop a sense of dread, which led up to something very intense and a frightening payoff. I mean, just look! What part of these characters scream, "I'm a real Japanese high school student"? What part is... Huh? What's that? They're supposed to be middle schoolers. That and that is supposed to be a middle schooler. So, they went into this anime knowing they're supposed to be animating middle schoolers, and yet this is what they come up with? Oh, come on! They make the cast of 90210 look more plausible by comparison. Yeah, from the footage we've seen, while the actors weren't bad, they were certainly not middle schoolers. They had to be at least in their early 20s. And it certainly didn't help when rotoscoping apparently added 30 years to some of these actors. It even includes some plot holes, most notably in the scenes in the anime where Nakamura tries to sexually attack the male lead, Kazuka.
Don't ask! For God's sakes, don't ask!
Yeah, he may act like a wimp, but that doesn't change the fact that he looks like puberty him like a ton of bricks. He could become a basketball player in a year or two. The manga is much more plausible because not only are Kazuka and Nakamura around the same height, but Kazuka is so scrawny that he makes Shinji Ikari look buff, so it makes sense that he could be pushed around. This is just the fundamental problems of using rotoscoping. You're going to be limited by the live footage you can capture and the actors you can hire, and it probably isn't going to be easy to find a class of middle school students to come in every week to record footage. And again, we do believe there are particular applications for rotoscoping. If you want a good anime example, we recommend Kids on a Slope, an anime where they use traditional animation for the majority of the show, save for the band performance, which actually looks very well done. But no matter what, rotoscoping should be used sparingly.
Hey, I got it going pretty soon. You think we can wrap it up for the day?
Sure. Just looking at this animation is exhausting. Next time we should talk about something else other than this type of animation. Wait, where are you going?
Yeah, I gotta go to Japan, which, by the way, folks, look forward to a vlog review of the third Manga movie.
Well, aren't you lucky?
Yeah, I hope this doesn't interfere with your plans or anything.
Nah, it's cool. Just bring us back a souvenir.
Sure, what do you want?
Do they sell anti-spiral figures?
I don't think they sell that.
Alright. Just bring us back an Ultimate Madoka figure.
Gotcha. See you around.
Alright, let's see. Why does Mega Mewtwo in Pokemon Y look like a star child?